The 10 heaviest songs from Queen, coming up. Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, 10 of the heaviest songs from Queen. Now, Queen is one of my favorite bands of all time, and I would certainly not consider them a heavy metal band by any stretch. They are a great hard rock band that played many different styles and did it all very, very well. But they do have some really heavy songs through their albums. Some of that comes from that thick, distorted sound, that great guitar sound from Brian May and some of his riffs. Some of it comes from the different writing influences within the band. Some of it is just from the over-the-top, dramatic nature of the Queen vocal harmonies and songwriting style. So what I did was pick 10, in my opinion, 10 of the heavier songs in the Queen catalog. I may throw in a few honorable mentions here. So I didn't put them in, the order that I put them in is from the earliest to the latest. So, all right, from the first Queen album, Son and Daughter. This is great. It's got this heavy, like bluesy riff. And then when the verse kicks in, it's sort of like laid back, kind of like a chugging thing. And Freddie sounds like he has like some sort of effect. It's almost like distorting his voice a little bit, try to be out, and it just has kind of a bluesy, heavy feel to it, man, and it's just awesome. And so it works for me in that main riff and the way Freddie delivers it, this sort of aggressive vocal delivery from Freddie. And I would say that the first two Queen albums have quite a few heavy things on them. I could have put like Keep Yourself Alive. That's pretty heavy. A lot of riff-oriented songs on the early albums. All right, next from Queen 2, maybe their heaviest album from top to bottom. I went with Ogre Battle. Ogre Battle is cool. It starts off with, it sounds like the record going backwards. And then, come tonight, come to midnight, come to Ogre Battle now. And I like the verses. The verses have sort of this triumphant, uplifting kind of feel to it. It's lyrics that, this sort of fantasy-esque lyrics that it doesn't sound like something that Freddie, for me, it doesn't totally work with Freddie Mercury. He sells it in this song because he's Freddie Mercury and he's absolutely amazing. But it feels like it's done maybe with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of a sly smile on Freddie's face when he delivers it. So it's hard to take it in like a heavy metal Ogre Battle, type of heavy metal way. It's done in a Queen way, only the way Queen could do it, delivered only the way Freddie Mercury could deliver it, which is completely awesome. All right, from Sheer Heart Attack, Stone Cold Crazy. I talked about this song when I did a video way early on with 5 heavy songs from 5 classic rock bands, and this is one that I brought up. Metallica even did a cover of it, and you could maybe argue that the Queen version is heavier than the Metallica version. It's like a almost thrashy, like then when it drops out in the verse, it's just the drums playing on the rim shot and Freddie delivering that really fast vocal line, Stone Cold Crazy, Bow! The song just comes out at 100 miles an hour and just keeps it up for the whole song. So just with the riff alone, it's super heavy and super awesome. Okay, next from A Night at the Opera. I almost went with the Prophet song, but which is a heavy song and it's pretty, got kind of a heavy groove to it. But I went with I'm in Love with My Car, Roger Taylor one. I always loved Roger's voice. He had that gravelly, high-pitched voice. Rod Stewart-esque voice. And it is something that doesn't get talked a lot about with Queen. And maybe I got to do a what makes why Queen rules video. And one of those things would be the fact that Brian sang and Roger sang. And usually on every album, there was at least two or three songs that, one with Brian, maybe two with Roger, two with Brian. So they sang on pretty much every of these early albums. And this song is great. It's got, I mentioned, I love Brian May. He was in my top 10 favorite guitar players of all time. Love his guitar sound. And I'm in love with my car. It's big and ringing out. It sounds like he's overdubbed a whole bunch of guitars. I love Roger's delivery. The machine of a dream. And he's got all these big drum fills in it. Roger Taylor, a totally underrated drummer, man. He's just great, and his drums sound huge, like usually on all the Queen albums, but especially in this song. So a great vocal delivery from Roger. I love the subject matter. I'm in love with my car. Just great. Love it. Heavy guitar. Awesome. All right, from A Day at the Races, I picked the song White Man. I was just talking about Roger Taylor's drums, and man, oh man, on that song, his drums sound massive. They are really loud, and like the toms in it, I don't know what size they are, they just sound huge, like orchestra timpanis or something. They're just like, oh, boom, 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 white man, who you gonna ride? And again, Brian's guitar is really heavy. The vocal delivery from Freddie is really kind of sinister and angry. And I love the way it would drop out, and the guitar just does that like bluesy riff, like and the song drops down, and then those big drums come in, and it gets really heavy. And I love the way it ends, like holds out this note, and there's just this big boom from Roger's drums, and it's just like they're almost distorting. They're so loud and just powerful. So great song from a great album, one of my favorite Queen albums. All right, okay, from jazz, Let Me Entertain You. Another great Brian May guitar riff. Like in the verses, everybody drops out, and Roger's playing like that syncopated beat. I love the lyrics in it. They're kind of like, we'll sing to you in Japanese. We're only here to entertain you. And like all the Queen vocals that just elevate the song up. There's a great part in the song, I can't remember where it is with the lyrics, where Brian does this like wow, dive bomb thing on his guitar. So awesome song that they would open up a lot of their shows. One of the early songs in their set when they played live during this era. Okay, all right, next one. This is a little bit of a different pick here, and it's from the Live Killers record, and it's We Will Rock You, but it's what they open the show with. They open the show with a different, much faster, more aggressive version of We Will Rock You, where the whole band is just playing and jamming out, buddy, yo, bomb, I got me, and just great, awesome way to we will rock you. It's just like a reimagined version of the song, and a totally cool way to open up the show. Driving Brian May guitar riffage. It's kind of short, hits you hard and fast, and then they go into Let Me Entertain You. It's just awesome. I love it. I could have picked the song We Will Rock You. I mean, that's heavy in its own right, but I just thought the live version of that is super, super cool. Okay, from News of the World, this album cover made one of my album cover videos, the song Sheer Heart Attack. Maybe this is the closest Queen got to a punk feel. It is just Roger on vocals again. Well, you're just 17, I want to do this. And it's just aggressive from beginning to end. Almost I'm sure it was intentional, but almost just like in an aggressive, like slightly sloppy, punkish way, and it's just great. And I love the way the song ends. I don't know what it is, Brian like really up high in his guitar, there's those really like noises, and it just sort of chops off real suddenly. So it's just one of these blasts out of the speakers. It just shows what a great band Queen was. I mean, they could play like We Are the Champions, and then Sheer Heart Attack, and just so many different textures to this band, and they did it so well. I mean, Sheer Heart Attack, Stone Cold Crazy, those are great, heavy, well played, well performed songs. Queen could do anything that they wanted to do. They were awesome. All right, last, and this was as they sort of went on in the 80s, it got harder to pick songs that were heavy. I thought about doing Dragon Attack from the Game album. That's pretty heavy, but that was sort of to me a little bit more of like a funky heavy. But I wanted to go with this one, and Hammer to Fall from the album The Works. But I'm putting a little asterisk next to it. I'm picking the Live Aid version of this because that is one of my, that whole set from Queen is one of my favorite live sets of all time, and their version of this on there, I just love it. It sends a shiver up my spine. You know, it is has so much energy, and I love the way Freddie's right after Freddie does all the like call and response with the crowd, you know, day oh day, da 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 da, and he gets the crowd going, is all right, and then he goes, hey hey, hammer to fall, and then the band just kicks in that. It's almost like an AC/DC vibe, an AC/DC riff, down down. Down, down, down. And I love the chorus. And one until we fight and fall. Waiting now for the hammer to fall. Crack, crack, it's almost like I said, like an AC/DC, like heavy hard rock groove to it. And man, I'm gonna shiver up my spine thinking about the Live Aid version of that. So freaking cool. Freddie Mercury, he is the ultimate definition of a stadium singer. He just sells it to millions of people. I remember reading an interview with Bob Geldof where he talked about how you know, he had to have Queen on that bill, and after it was over, he thought to himself, you know, the world is almost big enough of a stage for Freddie, and it's the truth, man. He was the ultimate stadium singer. The way he sang, the way he stood, the way he worked the crowd, and that set from them, even though it's like what 20 minutes. It is just an amazing live set. And Hammer to Fall, which was the album that I believe they had out at that time, just totally works. It's just total rock and roll energy. Great, great, heavy, hard rock song from Queen. All right, so there you go. 10 songs, in my opinion, from Queen that are pretty heavy. I know I left off some, so let me know in the comments some songs from Queen that you think are really heavy. These were my picks. Let me know your picks. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. And until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.